smoking joint inside of the Capitol Rotunda.
Whoa. Number one, it's not different. I can't do it. Time out, man. If I had a, I don't got my remote. I hate his face. I don't use the word hate a lot. But I gotta sign off. Mask has been removed. All pretenses are dropped. Or there's no more excuses. Today, everybody's gonna be making this point. Peace has always just been an illusion. But of all these thinkers and analysts and prognosticators, my take is the best take. And Nietzsche is the most relevant philosopher of our time. What's happening out here is so monumental that I've got to push that off for later. Right now, I've got to address an even bigger elephant that's in the room, and more radical than the idea of a mad king. This too is 100% real. They're all different kinds of enemies. I do fitness. And I tell people all the time, hey listen, that voice in your head that says I can't, when you really can, that voice in your head that says quit, that voice is an enemy. The devil is real, folks. The devil is real, folks. And you don't have to be a religious person to believe that. We have to decouple the idea that there are devilish ideas from the people who instantiate those ideas. But we've got to do this while acknowledging that there are people out there who are fully dedicated to our destruction. They killed someone.
To the Capitol building in many ways. But
I haven't even been watching this. I didn't even know somebody died. I've been out on state, skating out, working out.
Shut down America when we told families they couldn't send their kids to.
It would be the worst thing in the world to try to remove a president with 2 weeks left on his term over this incident.
No. The worst thing in the world would be to sit back and watch the president try to use the U.S. military to basically overthrow democracy and, for all intents and purposes, pull off a coup in the United States of America.
It just leads to this frustration. And I'm not saying them excuses what
That's the problem right there.
In the riots or
That's the problem.
In the electoral process.
You can't deny reality and then be mad because a bunch of people who are denying reality are rioting in the streets.
I think it is on the other side also.
Well, where he was going. Is his face on here? Can I show his face again? Because I'm sure it's in that. This is his face. He looks like this all the time. Sometimes it's worse than this. Where the Patriots, devil lies.
Because you have been, I would say, a fairly stalwart supporter of the president's, and I think you're a sincere and principled conservative. So given that, I would love to know your view of what we're watching.
They exist. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater.
Wrenching heart today. As someone who's worn the uniform and served our country abroad in Afghanistan and now serving my country on Capitol Hill. I couldn't believe
where the Patriots
what I was seeing unfold right before my eyes here in our nation's capital. And that being said,
where's the Tea Party at?
Busloads of constituents.
They're probably out there. That's the thing about it.
Drove to Washington
Tea Party's out there.
Today. They drove through the night.
Look at these guys.
Thousands of the day.
I hate his face. I don't use the word hate a lot.
And use it as a guise or an excuse.
I wouldn't cross the street to defend a politician, but I would do a lot to defend the most basic freedoms of the country.
Unless it was Donald Trump.
I hope others
defended him for the last 4 years.
Great to see you tonight on Capitol Hill. Richie, so you always find yourself, I've noticed, in the middle of these things. What did you see today?
Look like it.
Well, Tucker, I arrived actually just moments before the perimeter was breached, the perimeter outside of the Capitol.
Come on.
And I actually climbed up into the media tower that was set up for the inauguration. And they broke through the line and just completely overwhelmed the police with sheer numbers. I actually climbed
we call that pandemonium.
And
call that rioting.
Actually, I followed them all the way to the doors of the House floor.
Illegal.
There was that shooting that we opened
civil
the show
disobedience.
with,
That's
tonight,
not lawful protest.
Married veteran killed.
Insurrection
right
is a good word for it. Insurrection. What? Now imagine that this is black people. Time out, man. If I had I don't got my remote.
When people with jobs and families,
I got to put that on pause. So, to summarize, today, a mob of angry, according to these people, older people of primarily the Caucasian persuasion, who were Trump supporters, who were invited to come out here by Trump, who he's been tweeting at and egging on, saying that the election was stolen, that he's rightfully the duly elected president, and that they need to get out there and do something. These people converged on the Capitol in D.C., right? They destroyed property. An individual was killed. They killed someone. They stormed past the police into the Capitol, and they fired up joints. Imagine right-wing media. Imagine Fox News. Imagine Fox News if this was a group of people of color, not just black people, but people of color, essentially attempted to overthrow the government while smoking weed. No, I'm serious. Imagine it. Imagine what they would be saying. Imagine that they would be calling for martial law, right? Now Trump would be saying, "Sure, well, the United States military, right? Martial law, as they get for each other." Now that, what's this? Very light police and AR-15 and AR-210 and all these. We have millions of dollars of military equipment. Situations. I mean, let's go on with so rich. It had not. Let me check. So no, I'm sure it worked. Look, this. Why did $1 billion on military equipment? 80 tanks, all kinds of weapons, explosives, all kinds of riot gear. Why do we give them that if not for a situation like this? Who's all that stuff for? Who are they waiting to step out of line that it's okay for the police to show up in full battle gear, looking like they're universal soldier, when are they going to use all that stuff, if not now? That's what we should be asking ourselves. We get that from them. I love this. I'm not from police per se. I'm saying I don't know what this is.
Smoking joint inside of the Capitol Rotunda.
Great place to stop.
Good footage, Richie McGinnis. I noticed that too, by the way, looking at the video. Older people, which does make you pause.
Yeah.
When people with jobs and families are doing this, maybe you should wonder why. Which is not to excuse it, but it's different. Richie, great to have you. Thanks.
Number one, it's not different. Number one, it's not different.
I'm disappointed that we have senators that accepted the challenge to that gets things done in this country. The rhetoric has been unacceptable. Ripping up the State of the Union address, having a fake impeachment.
These people are not honest brokers. They're trying to maintain the illusion that they're not terrorists and they're not terrorist supporters. Terrorism is bad. And you can't justify, there's no justification for terrorism. They have to say that. Not because they believe it, but because they have to maintain the facade of righteousness. And that's really what the look on his face is. I think that's what bothers me about his face. It's like I'm trying to maintain the facade of righteousness. Look at his face again. Look at this guy's face. He's like, yes, I'm concerned. I'm just righteously I'm concerned. I just have, just a level of concern and righteous indignation about what's going on. But the reality is he doesn't. And neither does this guy. Look at him. I don't know who he is. But he looks like a serious person. He looks like maybe a former military person. He has that general look. He's got this dour / serious look on his face. You know, he looks like he's also concerned. A better version of this thing that's happening here. But they're lies. But if he was really concerned, he wouldn't be I can't take it anymore. I can only do so much fine. I can't do it. I gotta sign off, you know. In conclusion, with this message, you know, I was more happy. I was almost in a celebratory mode in the beginning, and now it's more like depression. I've got to pick this message up later. I've exhausted myself just in a few minutes of watching the news, which I normally watch, you know, all day if I can. But this is psychologically exhausting. Let me just say this. There are good people on both sides. At this point, however, it just so happens that neither one of those sides is Donald Trump's side. Right now, the good people are good Republicans who denounce Donald Trump and everything that he's doing and don't try to put the blame off on other people and other areas where it does not belong, because clearly he is the one who did this unprecedented thing. And on the other hand, there are the good people who are actively fighting against this enemy. And when I say enemy, remember, I'm decoupling myself from the Western mind frame. When I say enemy, I'm talking about an ideal which manifests in form of an ideology, which is in turn expressed through people. It is ultimately, at its root, at its core, it is the ideals that are the enemy, that we must fight and seek to destroy. They'll always be there. The question is, how do you destroy ideals? And that, to bring it full circle, lies at the heart of my analysis, which I'm trying to get to, but I'm being sidetracked by like this zombie apocalypse that's happening right now. So, like I said, it's not a game. They're getting bolder. The game is over. They're getting bolder. The game is over. They're getting bolder. Every time we start a winner, the game over. Nietzsche is the key to understanding why. Gas hit. I blew a gasket. Part 2 is coming soon, and I'm right back at